Okay, so today we're diving into a career path that honestly might sound a little, I don't know, drier than it actually is when you look at it up close.
Hmm.
Import-export manager for wood and construction materials.
Right.
Now you might be thinking, okay, so they move lumber around the world.
Yeah.
But we're going deep on this one thanks to some really great resources from RoleCatcher.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about the day-to-day realities, the skills you need to thrive, and even how to ace those interviews if this is something that you think you might be interested in.
It's really a hidden world.
Yeah.
Most people really don't realize how complex it is to get those raw materials from, say, a forest in Canada all the way to like a construction site in Dubai.
And RoleCatcher does a really good job of painting this picture of this career path as almost like climbing a video game ladder.
Uh-huh.
You start as an import-export specialist,
Okay.
which, let's be honest, that's a pretty cool business card title right there.
It does have a certain ring to it, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And what I find so fascinating is that even at that entry-level specialist stage, you're not just like pushing paper.
Right.
RoleCatcher quotes somebody at that level who's already like knee-deep in market analysis,
Wow.
learning the ropes of international trade.
Mhm.
It's about building those essential skills from day one.
So you're not just fetching coffee, you're analyzing global timber trends.
Exactly.
Got it.
I've-
Okay.
Yeah.
But what does a typical day actually look like for someone in this role?
Okay.
Is it all cargo ships and spreadsheets?
Picture this. Your alarm goes off in the morning,
Okay.
but it's not just any email inbox greeting you.
Okay.
You've got messages from suppliers in Sweden, customs brokers in Singapore, and your team's probably already online in a totally different time zone.
Okay. So multiple time zones, that tracks. But what are they actually doing?
So early on, it's a lot of coordinating the nitty-gritty,
It-
making sure that the right documents are in order, tracking shipments to make sure they're on schedule, and putting out fires when, let's say, a shipment of oak flooring gets held up in Rotterdam because of some paperwork discrepancy.
A paperwork discrepancy. See, that's where I'd be lost. What does that even mean in this world?
It could be anything from an incorrect tariff code to a missing certificate of origin.
Oh, wow.
And those seemingly small details can have major consequences. We're talking delays, fines, even jeopardizing entire shipments.
Wow.
It's the import-export manager's job to not only understand these intricate regulations, but to kind of anticipate and prevent these issues before they snowball.
So you need to be incredibly detail-oriented, organized,
Absolutely.
very on top of things.
But it's not enough to just be a master of logistics.
Okay.
Remember those suppliers in Sweden and the brokers in Singapore?
Right.
This role is all about building relationships, understanding cultural nuances.
Because a strongly worded email might work fine in New York, but not so much in Helsinki. Exactly.
You're dealing with people from all walks of life,
Yeah.
each with their own communication style, their expectations, and their ways of doing business.
Okay, I'm starting to see why RoleCatcher really emphasizes those soft skills so much.
Yes.
It's not just about knowing your way around a, what is it, bill of lading.
Bill of lading, yeah.
It's about understanding people.
100%.
But how do those cultural differences actually play out on the job?
Sure.
Can you give me an example from the guide?
Oh, yeah. I actually highlight a great example. They talk about how building trust with a supplier in, say, Japan might involve understanding their customs around gift giving,
Oh,
or how to navigate their maybe more formal communication style.
right,
You can't just like jump into business talk right away.
right.
It's about showing respect, taking the time to build that rapport.
So it's like
Oh.
cultural diplomacy, but with lumber.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that can make or break a deal.
Yeah.
If you offend someone early on by being too casual or direct,
Yeah.
you might totally jeopardize the whole relationship.
Okay, so it's high stakes in terms of the business deals,
Yeah.
but also in terms of just navigating all these interpersonal dynamics.
Yeah.
You really got to be on your game.
You really do. And that brings us back to that career ladder.
Okay.
As you progress from specialist to coordinator to supervisor, you're not just handling bigger shipments or more complex regulations.
Right.
You're managing teams, developing strategies, maybe even exploring new markets for your company.
And I imagine those negotiation skills really come in handy.
Yeah.
Whether you're hammering out a price with a supplier halfway around the world or dealing with a sudden price hike in shipping containers.
You're spot on. RoleCatcher has a whole section on the art of negotiation in this field.
Oh, interesting.
And it's not just about being tough or driving for the lowest price.
Right.
They talk about the importance of finding that win-win,
Yeah.
where both parties feel like they've gotten a fair deal.
Which in today's market can't be easy.
It requires flexibility, creativity, and a really deep understanding of the market forces at play.
Right.
Like, let's say, for example, there's a sudden surge in demand for sustainable bamboo flooring in Europe.
Okay, so I'm picturing all those trendy cafes popping up with like bamboo every.
Exactly. Now, as the import-export manager,
Yeah.
you need to anticipate that demand.
Okay.
You need to secure enough supply from your sources in, say, Vietnam,
Yeah.
negotiate competitive shipping rates, all while navigating any potential trade barriers or regulatory hurdles.
It sounds like a logistical jigsaw puzzle, but with way higher stakes.
Yes.
And speaking of hurdles, RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from the challenges of this career path either.
Right.
They talk about long hours, high pressure situations, and just constantly having to adapt to like a changing global landscape.
It's not for the faint of heart, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But for those who thrive in that kind of fast-paced, ever-evolving environment, it can be incredibly rewarding.
And that's where their interview prep advice comes in.
Right.
Because landing one of these roles is competitive, to say the least.
It is, and RoleCatcher goes beyond the usual, like, dress for success tips. They actually give you a peek behind the curtain of what interviewers are looking for, especially in this specific field.
Okay, so what are some of those insider secrets?
Well, they actually provide a bunch of sample interview questions that are really specific to this role.
Like what?
Things like, how do you ensure compliance with import-export regulations and laws?
Okay.
Or can you discuss your experience in managing inventory levels and ensuring on-time product delivery?
So pretty standard interview fare, but with that like niche industry spin.
Exactly.
All right.
But here's where RoleCatcher goes a step further.
Okay.
They offer insights into what those questions are really getting at.
Oh, interesting.
Like, for example, that compliance question.
Okay.
It's not just about, like, listing off regulations.
Right.
It's about showcasing your understanding of risk management, your attention to detail, your ability to stay updated in a constantly changing global landscape.
Yeah, because those things are always changing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are.
So it's almost like they're like reading between the lines of the question for you.
Precisely. They're giving you that decoder ring
Okay.
to understand what the interviewer is really looking for, even if they don't come right out and say it.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you're asked about a time you faced a challenging negotiation.
Okay.
They advise framing your answer to highlight not just the outcome, but how you kept those crucial relationships intact.
Right, because in this field, it's not just about winning that one deal. It's about like building those long-term partnerships.
100%.
Okay.
And they also emphasize the importance of showcasing your passion for the industry.
Okay.
It's one thing to, know the ins and outs of shipping contracts.
Yeah.
But conveying a genuine interest in the world of wood and construction materials, that's what makes you stand out from the other candidates.
So if you can geek out over the difference between like Baltic birch and maple plywood, that's a bonus point.
It certainly can't hurt. But on a more serious note, RoleCatcher also provides some great advice for navigating the increasingly digital world of job hunting.
Right, because it's not just about sending your resume to a human anymore.
Right.
It's about getting past those AI gatekeepers first.
And that's where those keywords come in.
Okay.
They advise tailoring your resume and cover letter to mirror the language used in the job description.
Oh, that's smart.
The AI is looking for specific skills and experiences, so you want to make it easy for the AI to find them.
Yeah, make their job easy.
Exactly.
So it's less about being like super creative and more about being clear, concise, and keyword savvy.
Yes.
Got it.
And don't be afraid to highlight any experience you have with relevant software or tools.
Okay.
Many companies in this field are using really sophisticated logistics and supply chain management platforms.
So if you've got it flaunted.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then finally, they stress the importance of networking.
Yeah.
Because even in the digital age, sometimes it's about who you know. It's about building relationships, learning from others in the field, and uncovering those hidden opportunities that might not be advertised on job boards.
Right.
They suggest attending industry events,
Yeah.
joining online forums, connecting with people on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Basically, put yourself out there, even if it's outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because you never know what doors a simple conversation might open.
You really don't.
You never know.
So we've covered the day-to-day realities, the skills needed, the interview tips, even the career progression. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But I think the big takeaway here is that this is a career path with some incredible potential, especially if you're someone who thrives in a really like dynamic global environment.
100%. It's challenging, it's rewarding, and at the end of the day, you're playing a crucial role in building the world around us.
And hey, who knows? Maybe you'll even have some of those exciting dinner party stories to tell
That's right.
about navigating customs in Casablanca or sourcing sustainable teak from the rainforests of Borneo.
The possibilities are truly endless.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of import-export management if this sounds like the career path for you. Be sure to check out those RoleCatcher resources. We'll link to them in our show notes. And until next time, keep exploring,